Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night. We've got the crew in the house. We have the timepiece temptress. We have our man Ali. We've got Nate. We've got Blake. And of course, I'm here. Yes, Ali's in
Wow.
another great mood, as you can tell.
He's mad because the Dodgers are winning.
No, I'm a Red Sox fan, dude. So, and my uncle who passed away was a Dodgers fan, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah. So,
Although I saw a great meme on IG. It was like Satan is conflicted on which of his two favorite teams to root for in the World Series because it's like the world's most hated fans and loved, hated and beloved are the Yankees and the Dodgers.
yeah,
It's all part of the script, man. The MLB script.
yeah.
No, that's the NFL script with all the colorways and secret messaging.
Same thing happens in the MLB too.
It's all WWE in the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome, you guys. Woo!
Woo!
So what's on
Oh,
everybody's?
I want to see Nate pull a Ric Flair.
Woo!
He just did.
Woo!
There you go. So what's on everybody's wrist this evening? We'll start with Ali since his camera's off. He can make up anything he wants.
No, I'm wristless at the moment.
Uh-oh. Well, you have wrist. You're just
You're not
watchless.
wristless, you're watchless.
I'm wristless. It's restless for
true.
wrist.
Yes.
Not
It's
true. I
restless.
can see both dimensions, Ollie.
Oh,
You drop that dimension thing, or I'm going to hit you with one of them.
Speaking of dimensions, what dimension do you have on your wrist this evening, Mr. Nate?
Well, in light of the topic of the show tonight, I am wearing one of my favorite kind of just bang around watches. That would be my 50 fathoms Swatch Blancpain.
I already regret making him large. Okay,
There you are. Mr.
No, hold on
Blake.
a second, Blake. One second. Can I see that again, Nate? All right. So the dimensions and then the profile view there. Okay. All right. No, I still hate it, but the dimensions all right. Okay.
And Mr. Blake, what's happening?
Oh, he's got his doxa.
The doxa. That's
nerd
very
over
cool.
here.
Doxa
like
on
it.
On the black rubber.
I like
Could be
the.
buried in a doxa.
Well, I mean, it depends on where we knock them off, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Miss
The,
G, what you been wearing today?
I have it's Speedy Tuesday. Let me see if I can get it in the screen here.
So
I'm just
speaking
wearing
of
my
homages,
Speedy homage on a gray anachronist nano strap.
oh, very good. What do you think of those anachronist straps?
I like them. I have 3 of them. They're great.
Wow, nice.
Very comfortable.
So, and I don't know how those work. They're single pass NATOs or what are they?
There are no
Yeah,
pass
they're
nails.
They're
single
no pass
NATO.
NATOs. Yeah, okay.
Or yeah,
Very
0
cool.
pass. Yeah.
And
okay, hold on. What does that mean? Zero pass NATO.
It doesn't
Okay,
have
so-
like fabric that goes under the case back.
So it's not a NATO.
No, it
It
is.
looks like a NATO, but it doesn't wear like a
Wait,
NATO.
no, what do you mean? A fabric strap is not a NATO. A NATO strap is a NATO strap because it actually weaves that way.
Yeah. Not sure the formal.
Hold on, let me see it again, Jen.
definition,
Hold on, let me see it
but
again.
You're not going to be able to tell.
No, I can
because
tell
the
that
way it
it's
works-
not weaving underneath. And then,
Yeah.
So
So,
it-
you put one side in with the pin, and then you run the other side with the pin, and then whenever you want to put it on, and this part will go.
and that's
this way.
considered a NATO strap still?
I think it's a Zulu strap.
Bingo, there you go.
Yeah.
He got it.
You fudge it.
I don't know.
I don't know how they work. I've just heard of them. So I've got on one that I've never shown anybody because I just kind of wear it around for fun. But this is a Duxat, which looks similar to, but not exactly like, a Seamaster. It's got a
I was gonna
thinner
say, is that
bezel.
the bastard child of a doxa?
Yeah, it's got a thinner bezel, different date position. Same kind of wavy dial, except the waves are a little bit closer together, but not much. But it is, and the bracelet is similar too, except this one actually has a taper to it. Not much of one, but it does.
Not much of one, but yeah, it's there. So I got food poisoning at a restaurant named Duxat.
Hey, well, there you go.
There we go.
So this watch could literally make you sick.
It's kind of like a Doxa and a Tissot.
That's right. It's a Duxat. It's actually the second one I had. I got one a couple of years ago. It was a his first GMT I ever owned. And it was great, but it was also quartz, and I really didn't like it all that much. I don't like the tick, tick, tick all the time for a lot of watches, although I still have quartz, obviously. So I got rid of that. We've got a new panelist joining us. Duco. What's on the wrist tonight, Duco?
The original homage, the Explorer.
That's right.
Duco, the Smedium legend.
That's right.
Hold on. Let's see that again, Duco.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't mean to watch. I was looking at you.
Oh, wait, let's just get that.
He hasn't taken it off.
That's pretty. That's pretty. No, that's pretty too. Oh, look at that. Man.
Look at that. Boys.
So no flex when you come in the room?
Nope.
That's every 15 minutes. Like every 15
Yeah,
minutes.
give him 15 minutes. He'll flex.
Jen knows. She's got that little clicker, like the little livestock clicker. She's like, oh, 7 flexes.
Tonight, I got
clip
called
him
out
and put
on
him
it.
up on a special channel.
You got called out on it.
Yeah, apparently.
I was making good money on those flexes, and then I wrote it.
What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Well, talking about homage watches, let's first see who's in here. Say good evening to Collector Invest and my watch channel. Caliber YQG for joining
Nate Collector Invest, who's homage to an actual investor.
us. Yes, sir. Micah Taylor, I'm in Temple, Texas, hoping to make it out to an event. Very good. Micah will enjoy. We've got a couple of events down here in Austin in November. So come on down. November, what are the dates? 16th and 17th. And I think one of them starts that Friday night as well. So check them out. Come on down. Nice to meet you if you are. Boogie With joins us. DP is in the house, as well as your friend Mikey. We don't talk NATOs around these parts. Now, I still have a watch right here with a NATO on it, so be careful. So we're talking about homage watches. What are they? Bottom line, could every watch be a homage to something else? But Ali is talking about, there is a definite definition in his mind to what a homage is. So
I also pulled up the actual definition since we were arguing about it.
We want to thank Ari for being here. Live long and prosper. And that too.
Indeed.
What's on the wrist tonight, Ari?
On the wrist is nothing right now. It's
it's
late evening.
That is the original homage.
That is the original homage. That's right. That's right.
That's right. The
I
only
was
thing-
wearing-
For later on when he does the fapage.
I was yes. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the mechanics in the watch. I was wearing my day just today in the office. I had an office meeting, had to put on a suit, everything. So
Oh no.
Boo.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got one of those coming up next month. I've got to put on a suit for.
Is that like syphilis? What's happening? I don't understand.
No. So well, let's talk about, first of all, what is the real definition of homage, and then I'll kind of tell you where I'm coming from here.
Expression of high regard or respect, or something that shows respect or attests the worth or influence of another.
So it's not necessarily a copy.
Nope.
No.
It is showing respect towards another.
May apply to the recognitions of one's right to great respect or any expression of such recognition.
That's why I said Raven at the beginning, because when he explains his design cues,
Mhm.
Like there's a he if you don't explain it, if you don't actually go out of your way, right? Just because your watch looks like it doesn't make it an homage. It's when you explain it and actually design something around, understand the cues, so forth and so on. Do I consider it an homage?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now I'm a flaming prick, so I mean that doesn't mean I'm. Well, no, I am
No,
right because
That's
I'm
true.
me, but
That's true.
No, but it's like so. A lot of people think a homage watch is what you find on AliExpress that looks exactly like an expensive Swiss
No.
watch, whether it's a
I don't know
Rolex.
why you got to
No.
invoke my name in this shit.
Yeah,
No,
whether it's
yeah.
a Rolex or a Breitling or
An homage watch is something is respecting the brand in my
Yeah.
in most cases. It's
Yeah.
it's meant to be
It's not a
respectful.
rip-off. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm gonna make a
They're
totally different
respecting.
analogy here. Yeah.
They're
make a
respecting. They're
tool-
like, your shit's good, so we're gonna take it
Yeah.
and make one just like ours.
It's like
Copy paste.
it's like, in the music world when like Weird Al does a take on your song,
Yeah.
right? That's a thing of honor. It's an homage to it, right? He's not claiming it's original.
That's a parody.
Or,
Not-
yeah,
Well-
parody or satire. I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
in that
so
case,
some-
then like
Okay, so maybe Weird Al isn't a great example. I take it as something of respect.
then
No,
Spinnaker
I'm
would be
serious.
like the Weird
Yeah,
Al
well,
example.
The Spinnaker 50 Phantom is
Exactly.
Weird Al of
Yeah.
50 Phantoms.
All right,
There
fair.
you go.
All right,
Belchito,
so
if you
let me
will,
try again.
is-
Let me try
is an
again
homage.
because I do believe there is an analogy there in that world. Like there is a, when anyone does a when the tribute band, right? Anybody that plays, there's plenty of Rush tribute bands I listen to, right? They're doing that out of respect. They don't claim to have written Red Barchetta or anything like that. They
No.
do it out of respect. And so, I mean, it's not the perfect example, but I look at homage as not something negative. I've never looked at something negative. It's something, it's something to say like, hey, this is awesome. And here's our take on that.
I can see that. Speaking of homages, I think we've got some unboxings this evening too. Don't we, Nate? We've got some unboxings.
Speaking of AliExpress,
Can you drop
I
them?
have 3. I'm not going to drop them.
Sure.
Chicken.
I
gonna
think
Okay, I don't intend on dropping them. But I have a whole bunch of homage watches in my collection. So I brought them all with me tonight to talk about.
Ooh.
You can decide homage or something unique or a little bit in between. I think that homage watches. I mean, at this point, I think that pretty much every watch to some extent is an homage of something else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, short of it being like an work or, I mean, there are some truly creative and unique watches that come out that really don't harken back to anything from the past. But 95% of the watches that come out now are to some extent an homage to something else. They're reflective of an earlier watch.
No, reflective on earlier watch isn't an homage, though, man. Right? Homage, they have to have the intent.
Well, sure. I mean, but again, the fact that they're choosing to make the watch reflective of an earlier of something else.
No, so that's the thing is, I would like to believe that, but I don't think we're going to use the Cubitus as an example, right? I actually don't think that those sons of bitches realize that anything exists outside of themselves. So whether they were influenced or whatnot, I actually don't like any resemblance to a Cartier or any number of other watches that preceded the Cubitus, right? Is to them completely inconsequential.
So
Yeah,
we have a $2 super chat from our man REG. What would be an homage to my space laser? Well,
That would be that one MBNF. What's that? Oh my god, which one is it? It's the one with the display that shoots out the side.
Well, that's brilliant.
oh, I can't remember what
the
it
James
is.
Bond one with the laser that shoots out of it.
No, that's the Seamaster.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Could be
Yeah.
a space laser watch.
Lovely.
Welcome to the show, Nathan. Sorry.
How you
Quick-
doing?
Bud?
quick
Hey,
help.
bud.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, it's feeling better from weeks ago.
Well, that's good, man. So, what do you have there, Duco?
Oh, it's an homage. It's a squale.
It's a squale.
Wale.
Dig it
It's
out
an
of
out
the
of focus
thing.
squale.
What's that a homage to?
Mhm.
It's an homage to
His
every
dignity.
other dive watch made. for
So,
dignity.
I mean,
No,
Buddy,
no,
can I sell you
I
a
don't
few
know if
pixels there?
So here's the thing, though. Remember that we have two squales in the family, because my daughter has two squales that have just they're fantastic watches. They've been fantastic, but Squale used to do case design and various component work for Blancpain. Like they themselves have like a pretty storied history, although their history nowadays is been relegated to Archie luxury shouting.
TGV.
No,
Yeah,
no, Archie
TGV also
Luxury.
goes on.
Archie Luxury shouting about TGV.
Yeah, exactly.
But the
But, you
two
know-
the two that my daughter has, the two Squale, are fantastic, dude. Like I've said it a couple of times on air. They're her oldest automatic watches. They've been beaten to hell. They don't need a polish. They look fucking new.
Yeah, no, I've beat the crap out. This was my first jump into automatic watches many years back, and I beat the crap out of this.
That's what I like. I like a watch you can just beat to shit.
Mm-hmm. It has been beat to shit.
I don't know. Blake says that so emphatically. There's like a little Denzel darkness somewhere inside the lake.
So when I unboxed the Grand Seiko, the blue dial one, like a couple weeks ago, I haven't worn it since. And then I let my friend borrow it. He's been wearing it. And then he traded me in a Breitling to wear, and I stopped wearing it because then I was like, I don't want to beat his watch to shit, so I want to beat my own watches to shit. So then I came to the conclusion I like watches that I can beat to shit. So I said beat to shit a lot in a small period.
He has
there,
he has anger issues. It's
yeah.
it is apparent.
He is waiting for them to legalize marijuana and high dose THC gummies.
Dude, I live in Vegas. It's here. It's here already.
This is
They
an
have 'em at
interesting
the
question.
7-Eleven.
Go ahead, Jen. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just said that they have them at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Gummies.
can buy liquor at the gas station. So I'm good in all corners.
Hi, all. Is Cubitus a homage to a Nautilus or a Santos?
Yes.
The best part about that was his head, the head nodding acknowledgement of that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you.
And speaking of watches that are both not homages and also should be have the shit beaten out of, let me just one time.
No,
There you
come
go.
Oh
on,
God,
man.
you bastard!
It's an Invicta.
No, actually, I mean, if you think
What the
about it,
fuck?
the Invicta is the ultimate homage watch. How many people probably listening to the stream or that pay attention into the YouTube watch space or have become huge collectors at some point in their life have not owned a automatic Invicta Pro diver?
I have never owned a.
I don't know.
Invicta.
I don't know if that classifies as a homage because it's not paying respect to something. They're just like, we see how good the Submariner is. We want to sell and undercut the hell out of it, and just
Can I
Yeah.
just say this is the same freaking watch?
It's like
I'm looking at the
it's like
screen
the
and I'm
meme
just
from-
thinking like they got the nice watch stuck in a waffle maker.
It's the
Or like-
same watch, man.
Or George Foreman.
You know what?
They
This was
just
awful.
they just curved the four corners.
You know what? I agree with Duco. It is the same watch.
It's
the
the
same
same
damn watch.
freaking watch.
It's so
It's the
fucking
it's the
stupid.
meme from The Office.
They
They're
just
the
took a
same
Dremel.
picture.
It is the meme from
They
the
took a
office.
Dremel with a 900 grit and just edged the curves off of it. That's it.
and Terry Stern is like, you should be grateful. I
You
am such a
bastards are gonna
genius.
Eat this up.
I know,
I'm a
right?
barrel.
I'm trying to. Shots were fired at me, but I don't actually know what they mean.
Yeah, I don't
Stay away from gas station sushi around the Ali. So shots were fired, but I don't know what they mean. So
I
if
don't know what that means
Chris
either.
wants to actually explain the rest of that, Because it wasn't gas
He's
station
referring
sushi that
back
made
to
me
your
fat.
conversation about food poisoning from earlier.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
the French restaurant that is named after Robert's
Yes.
watch. God, this is
Oh,
so
that.
bad. This is so bad. Patek, this is so bad.
It's the same watch, guys.
At least it's not like restaurant named Skinny's.
I
It's
will say
bad.
the Nautilus to me is, I mean, I'm sure the Cubitus is going to sell well. I have no doubt that it'll sell. Every model, it's not going to be hard to sell. But to me, the Nautilus looks
Dude,
so much better.
every time somebody says like something's gonna sell well, every hooker missing 18 teeth sells
What?
well.
Hold on. Oh, what? Someone say hooker?
Yes, REG.
Is it just me,
Sorry,
or
go ahead.
does the Cubitus ruin the Nautilus
It does
for you guys?
It does.
Well,
'Cause
now-
I didn't
now-
like, so
Yeah.
anyway.
Now I look
so
at
I didn't like the Nautilus because the Nautilus looks like a Ferengi to me in the first place.
God, it does.
if
Right.
Holy crap!
if the
A
Cubitus wasn't next
Ferengi
to
from Star Trek.
I just killed Nate.
You son of a bitch.
if the Cubitus was not next to the Nautilus, I would be like, oh, that's a cool looking watch. You know, that's a great looking watch. But now I'm just like, they're both fucked.
Nate's dying.
Hey, you okay, man?
I'm broken. I'm so broken.
I'm broken.
That's a great analogy. It does look like the Ferengi.
Pull up the Ferengi. I don't know what we're talking about.
Dude, it's the little big eared dudes. All right, I got it.
Pull it up.
That's what the Nautilus reminds me of.
Oh,
Nate had to turn his camera off again.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Interesting.
Rule of acquisition number 1. Once you have their money, you never give it back.
Wow, you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Wait, hold on. Are Chris and I having a fight? I want to find out. Ollie, you have food poisoning. I don't have food poisoning at the moment. Ollie, amazing. Thank you for knowing my name. Humbled by your memory. I don't know what that is. This not Chris? Did I call my watch channel the wrong name? I'm pretty sure. Okay. Are we having a fight?
I don't think so, man.
I'm down for a fight.
No.
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 We're talking about the
No.
Ferengi. Let it go. Let it go.
I think it elevates the Nautilus. Captain. What the
Captain
fuck?
Wood.
Cap. If you're gonna say stuff like that,
I'm
you
just
better get
fucking
on
done.
the panel, man.
I agree.
Yeah, you
So what time
gotta
are we
support
gonna
those
be
claims.
doing our
So
unboxings?
is the Cubitus, is that an homage?
Well, I don't know. Nate, should we do an unboxing?
Well, let me answer, or at least give my opinion on Duco's comment. I don't think it's an homage because I think that Ollie's 100% correct, and I don't think that Terry Stern, in any way, shape, or form, was showing respect to any of the other square watches that look like this. I truly believe that in his mind, he thinks that this is a unique design that came out of his own head.
A unique?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I
But-
guess okay.
But
So
really,
I
we
got
all-
I got tons of homage watches here, or potentially homage watches here to discuss tonight.
Okay, let's do
So-
it.
Okay, let me-
So here's
Excuse me.
Hi, Cap.
Hey, Robert.
Hey.
Hey, Boo.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, Gambino? Hi, Gambino. The Dodgers are losing, Gambino.
It's crazy. 5-2
The
now.
Gambino Bambino. How about that one?
I got it right here. Dodgers
So
game.
I was challenged to come on, and of course I'm going to accept that challenge with the
Mhm.
white glove that was slapped in my face. No, I'll be brief, and then I'm going to let you guys do your thing on the homage and hang up. No, my point on the elevates of the Nautilus is because of all of the shit that's been thrown at the Cubitus. the Nautilus is elevated, right, to now this mythical iconic, which it is iconic, but it's even higher now, right? Because people are shitting on the Cubitus so badly that the Nautilus is like sacrosanct. It's like untouchable. That was my point.
So
Now,
Cap. So you're basically saying that by comparison, the Nautilus is suddenly elevated, which is
yeah,
also
yeah,
like
yeah.
saying that
I think
if you
well,
set the bar on the floor and you don't
well,
trip
let me
over it.
let me ask you this, Gambino,
God damn it!
because you have your pulse on the market, right?
It's the Nautilus and the Cubitus.
Oh shit! A Nautilus and a cube walk into a bar. Who walks out? The thing is,
A
the
Rolex.
Nautilus. Do you think this will have an impact on the Nautilus pricing? Because now people are going to be like,
because
"F
they're
the
making less
Cubitus."
of them.
I want
making less
no.
of them.
Even they're making less of them, and then the older versions, and of course, yeah, the like 5712s and the other ones that they still have, the complicated Nautili
Mhm.
are going to be more coveted, right? Now, let me ask a different question though. Seriously,
Do it.
you're one of those two aliens that Ali just pulled up. You know, Grogu, whatever, whoever the hell they are. Okay, those guys.
Ferengi.
So they know nothing. They're in a unidentified flying object, a UFO, an unidentified flying object. So they land on planet Earth, okay? And they see in one hand you got a Nautilus, and in the other hand they got a Cubitus. Someone has a Cubitus.
what the fuck type of question is
What
this?
does
Which
this-
I don't know.
one-
He was
Waiting for
listening
the
to
end
Trump's
of this.
speech at Madison Square Garden a little too closely. Like
which
the illegal alien
one?
lands.
Which
Which
one is the alien choosing? That's all I want to know.
Which
Forget
one do
about
they-
the Jenna. Let's throw out and listen, Blakey Poo, relax. Let's throw out.
Hey, Cap, how are the gummies
Genta,
tonight?
Throw
Just
out the
asking.
Genta. Throw out all your preconceived
So
notions. Of
they know
Patek.
nothing. They're just looking at these fresh eyes.
No, which one
Yeah.
do they dissect? They'd be like, "Oh, this is a science experiment." Here.
You know
They
what
go
I'm
for the
saying?
Nautilus. They go for the
Which one
Nautilus.
do they
No,
want?
no,
They want the Nautilus.
No.
They fucking
Which one do they
beam
want?
Terry Stern up. You know,
That's all I want to know.
There's only one answer here. Under rule of acquisition 123, the
Okay.
answer is they take both of them.
no, they take
That's
they
a
take
cop out answer.
they take the designer because he's
But
such
I'll
a
accept it.
genius to fix all the problems on their spaceship.
Well, if you knew the Ferengi, he's not wrong. They would take both of them.
Yes.
In a negotiation.
Well, what if they couldn't though? What if they only could take one?
They would take
Forget
the
about
Nautilus.
Man,
negotiating.
Terry.
Who is the
Okay,
guy?
so here's the problem: is that the Nautilus is ass ugly in the first place, and the Cubitus just makes it even worse.
Okay.
It's not ass ugly.
So
it's not
let
ass
me
ugly.
ask,
Duco.
Duco, let me ask an actual, let me ask a non-hypothetical hypothetical.
You know,
If a person who comes on to a YouTube stream has 14 gummies before starting to have a conversation about hypothetical aliens picking a watch, and another person comes on and also has 14 gummies in advance of having this discussion, who's higher? And I think that the answer is clearly Cap.
I wish that were the case, man. You wouldn't want to see me high. It would be
14
even worse.
gummies. Good gosh.
It would be even worse. Anyhow, I don't know. Look, it is what it is. They're gonna sell them. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
design wise, like the thing about Terry Stern, right? He's like Mr. Design all of a sudden, and he's 100% in control. And
all right, hold
I'm
on,
not
Cap.
a design guy, but I know how to pick them. And then he quotes the 20. What is it? The 24? Was it the Patek 24 line that they came out with? That's nowhere to be found.
Mm.
I don't know, but I'm seriously considering banning them all for this comment.
What do you say, my guy?
You do not invoke Sydney Sweeney
Oh gosh.
and Paul Pluta.
Those are not comparable.
They're not
No.
comparable products.
Not at all.
I mean,
I'm actually not even completely confident that I know who Sydney Sweeney is, but I'm
I
pretty
do.
sure she's
I
the
do.
blonde.
I do, and you know what?
Yep.
She's the
Yeah,
blonde? Okay,
I
yeah,
do.
then yeah, you don't compare them.
No, I mean, like obviously, I would go for AC3. Obviously.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. You dirty space
Thank you for
laser.
joining us tonight, Artie. It was nice to see you. Go buy a South Korean
Hey,
appliance.
Hey, there's
And
one more thing that Cubitus did, that no one expected. It
Made us all
completely
throw up.
it completely obliterated any discussion of the first Omega in space.
That's true.
Has now ceased, immediately. It had its 15 minutes of fame, and now it's done.
There's a Cubitus on Joma for 185 right now.
All right,
Already?
Blake, real quick. Doxa 300 or
Mhm.
Cubitus? Which way you going?
What? Fucking Doxa? All day.
No, wait. What price point are you getting both at
Okay,
retail?
hold on. Yeah, let me back
'Cause
that
you got to
up.
be nuts to
If-
pass up the Cubitus at retail.
If I could buy the Cubitus at retail and sell it
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
market value, I would do that and then buy
Keep
10
on
Doxas or
freezing.
5 Doxas or whatever.
I'll
But if
do
I had
the
to,
unboxing
if you
later.
said, "Hey, here's a gift," right, and you can only take one of these gifts and you can never get rid of it, Doxa.
There
Oh,
you have.
I
There
don't
you
know.
have it. There you have it.
I don't know, man.
Doxa wins.
I don't know.
we have a full fucking panel. Wait,
Yep.
no, we don't. We just have. We lost Nathan again. Okay.
Who did we lose? Yeah, okay,
Nathan.
we lost Nathan again.
I have to go back
No,
to my
Nate's up at the top. Oh,
silver
Nate, okay.
auction bidding. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Hello, Mitch.
Hey, buddy.
Yowza, everybody.
How are you tonight? What's
How
on
are
the
you, sir?
wrist, sir?
On the wrist is still my wild and crazy citizen, whatever they're calling it this week, Shenshin Super Titanium with extra gold leaf clusters chrono.
Hey,
Awesome.
I like that watch, Mitch. I really do.
It's actually, the bracelet is surprisingly nice for the price.
Very nice.
So we've now got Ferengi Nautilus Gambino Esquire up in the corner.
I'm looking up these 24s, and Patek is selling a quartz watch for $17,000.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck?
That's
Very
probably
good.
gold and covered in diamonds.
No, it's steel. It's steel,
Ooh.
and it's got like a small little pave of diamonds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So what do you got for us, Nate?
So, okay, couple of things to start with. I happen to be a big IWC fan. I love
Mhm.
Pilot's watches. I love the Flieger. And my favorite $50 watch that I own is a Citizen
Oh, that's a
Eco-Drive
beautiful watch.
Flieger.
You piece of shit. That's a good looking watch.
You need to change
Yeah.
that battery, son. Get that battery swap.
No, it's an Eco Drive, so it doesn't need that.
Yeah,
It just
it
needs to be in the sun a little bit longer.
Yeah, it needs
Yeah.
light.
yeah, mine is one of them light fueled beasts also.
So the question is, would you call this an homage to the IWC Pilots watches and the other, the Lacos and the other
Lacos.
Flieger watches from the 1940s?
I don't think any of those are homage watches because the design language comes from the Luftwaffe or whatever. The Type A, Type B. I mean, they're all.
God damn it. I'm being put in a very awkward situation. I have to agree with Blake. So the Flieger watches of this style are more like of a historical note piece as opposed to a brand note piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And from that perspective, I don't consider them homages. Now, with that said, that Citizen is a fantastic execution. That is
Yeah.
a pretty watch for like no money.
Yeah.
Sean, nobody disagrees with you, Sean. Nobody disagrees with you.
Yeah. We
Until I
got
get
the
my allocation.
$5 super chat.
I mean, you're just a flipper.
Sorry, guys, but Cubitus equals Stupitus. Just saying. Don't hate me for it. Cheers.
This is what's gonna happen. You know how there's that meme that like I won't tell anybody I won the lottery, but there'll be signs. Nate's gonna show up like on one episode with a Turkish hair transplant, right? And you'll know that he got his Cubitus allocation because he flipped that son of a bitch and he has excess money like a
Stupidest is the people who are actually buying the Cubitus in the gray market. That's Stupidest
Yeah, that is
Maximus.
stupidest.
Didn't you
Stupidest,
already-
By the way-
no. Stupidest Maximus. Maximus. Get it?
Yeah,
Gladiator
definitely
2
not,
coming out next
definitely
month,
not
ladies and
high.
gentlemen.
Definitely not high. Definitely not high.
Didn't you already get your Cubitus allocation from AliExpress?
We'll have a conversation about that shortly. But so, by the way, in terms of the secondary pricing on the Cubitus, it is dropping faster than I have ever seen
Yeah.
a new release drop.
Because I'm not sure how many of them have been bought.
What about the Sprite? The Rolex Sprite?
Nope.
Not even close. This is much worse.
The Sprite came out of the starting block at almost 4.5 times retail. I saw Sprites within the first week or two of release selling at 40 or 45,000. Now, granted, that was also during the height of the market, but they stayed in that $40,000 range, 30, and then in the 30s for a significant period of time. Now, again, right now they're down at 1.5 times retail. They're 15, $16,000 all day long, but for example, I saw, the first listings for the steels at 240, so 6 times retail roughly. They're now at 140. I saw two tones in the 200s that are now at 115, and the platinum is under 2x. And in all honesty, I'm happy about it. Now, would I have liked to have gotten an allocation on day one and of a steel one and flipped it for 5 times retail? I guess. That would have ruined a relationship with a Patek dealer that I've had a relationship with for a number of years, so I wouldn't do it. But the reality is that people who are going to want the watch, and there are people who are genuinely going to want the watch, should be able to get it from a retailer without a significant spend history. I was having a conversation with my AD today, and the comment was that it really shouldn't be that long before regular buyers are going to be able to get it. Maybe not necessarily as their first watch, but potentially as a second watch. And that's obviously also going to depend on how decent your AD is compared to, or the boutique is versus some other ones. But again, we've deviated from the topic. So potential homage watches. One of my other favorite watches that I've been wearing lately and kind of fits into the Cubitus discussion is my Bulova Super Seville. The green Cubitus before the Cubitus.
See, I like that. I like that a lot.
Well, and it's something that's out of their back catalog as far as the watch itself and the shape of the watch. Although they had a bunch of different Super Sevilles, they had round and they had, a bunch of different ones. But that one has a history.
Here, I'll make it perfect for Ollie. There you go. And I mean, the question is, Bulova is making homage to itself to some extent.
Yeah.
And I think that as companies go to their back catalog, not necessarily for a straight reissue. I think there's a difference between an homage and a reissue. But if they're pulling something from their back catalog and modernizing it and making some changes to it, I think that the Tissot PRX is exactly the same thing. The PRX, comes from a Tissot from the 1970s. I forgot what it was called.
It was it was in the Sea Star family back then.
Sea Star, that's right. Yeah, Quartz Sea Star. So these, the Citizen, Flieger, and this, fall into the some form of homage category, in my opinion. But yes, there are 3 nondescript black boxes with very odd looking logos on them. There's a triple homage unboxing that is specific for purposes of tonight's show that I have gotten.
First of all, we welcome My Watch Channel, who is a new member to the Watch Hangout. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We love having new members.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the madness.
And you'll be in the race this evening because you are a new member, and new members get in the race along with anyone who super chats and anyone we figure that we want to put in there because we're nice people and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to be in the race, give us a super chat, a member chat, join the channel, or just be active in the room and we might give you a free entry. Go ahead, Nate.
So watch number one comes from the wonderful company with a lengthy history of Farasuit,
Parachute original.
whose
Original, that was good.
whose slogan is hold on. The slogan is creative and classic and creative,
There you go.
which sounds like a Google Translate from whatever their slogan actually is. So I got my box here, and it came with this lovely golden embossed envelope with here. I'm going to do a little I guess what was it? Little Jody. It's got a 2-year warranty card that's not filled out, so I'm sure that'll work out well for me in the long run.
Yeah, you have to cover the serial number when you show
That's
that,
right.
Yeah.
And this watch has been on the market for over a year.
Ooh.
And we'll start from the back.
Oh.
And we'll turn it around to the front.
Oh.
Holy crap.
Oh my.
It's the Cubitus.
That's been on the market for over a year.
It's the Farasuit.
It's the Farasuit Cubitus.
This is just
What
getting
if-
worse and worse for
So here's the best part
There's
that you
a
damn well
billion-
know that was stolen from some fishing exercise.
What if Terry
Right.
Stern was like drunk
No
at
doubt.
night on AliExpress, like in his creative mind, like, hey, look, we can just literally copy paste anything from AliExpress and we'll be
Idiots will
original.
buy it.
Now
Boom.
there are new treatments for Farasuit Cubitus.
It looks like the same thing. Look at the case shape. Look at the crown guard. It's the same shit.
Yep.
The bracelet.
I can't pull up my IG in StreamYard Collector Invest, not the messages at least.
That's crazy.
So this is crazy because I mean, even down to the teak dial, the handset,
The indices.
the
I mean,
indices.
Best
Mhm.
best
crown
case scenario.
guards.
Best
yeah,
case
crown
scenario.
guards,
This proves
the
the point.
bracelet.
Yeah, best case scenario. This proves the point that the Cubitus and the Nautilus are indistinguishable, because this was a knockoff of the Nautilus. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario. This is literally a fishing exercise gone wrong, and the design. So the Cubitus leaked, and they just made.
Mm.
And
What
by the way, take a look at, if we can, that
that's funny as
rotor on the
shit.
back.
It's like a ninja star. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually, and in all honesty, having worn the steel Cubitus with the green dial,
Feels the same.
they're the same picture. I mean,
What
in
if-
all honesty, the only difference between this and the Cubitus is are the 4 screws that are on the
Yeah.
bezel. And then again, this could also be a Hublot homage because the screws are misaligned.
Yeah.
What if they're
Hublot's
just hiring?
catching strays for no reason.
Poor
What if
Hublot.
they're just hiring the
Always.
design teams from China? I mean,
No, they don't work with outside
Fiverr.
designers. Remember, that never works out.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
not.
Okay.
They
So-
never run those machines just a little bit longer, so they have a few
What if they
extras
bought
just
that
in
same
case.
watch and then rendered the case and then made a Cubitus?
I mean, look, the Cubitus design, and the patents and things like that, I'm sure have been out there for some period of time. But the fact that nobody, somebody that I is in my watch collecting group that is a huge Patek collector, probably has about 60 or 70, commented that, when I showed this, I showed the side of the case and the bracelet and said it was a special pickup day, and then showed the dial. And the comment was, well, the Cubitus design and patents have been out there for well over a year, so they had time to go and do this. And while I'm sure that is somewhere the case, the fact is, if those things were actually out there and people knew about it, we would have known what this watch looked like, months ago.
Months ago, yeah.
So the fact that this watch looks, not only does it look like the Cubitus, I have done, hold on one second here. because I also have with me, like every good watch collector should have, and every male.
Is it a
My handy
45
dandy-
millimeter?
Yeah, my handy dandy.
Son of a bitch.
And so what do they measure it from? From 10 to 2, right? That's how Patek
Yep.
measures these.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's see
Yep.
how close.
So it should be 45 meters, 45 millimeters.
Hold on one second, folks. Let's
Wow.
do this. Wait.
45.4.
It's actually better than that. Let me get a good. Yeah. Here we go. It is 45 millimeters from
Son of a
10 to 2.
bitch. I
I'm-
can't say I'm not surprised, to be honest. What about the
and-
thickness?
The thickness. Let's see. It's going to be a little bit thicker, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Given that it's a.
Because the Cubitus is
well,
super thin,
I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry. How much is the Cubitus?
Googling.
It's worth-
8.3.
So it is slightly thicker.
Yeah, that
1
that
millimeter.
That 1
thicker.
millimeter is worth $35,000.
1 millimeter thicker, the exact same dimensions, the exact same Ferenginar ears. And I will tell you, I wore this all day today. Other than the fact that I did not have my micro screwdriver at work to take a link out of the bracelet, were pretty nice. It is. I set it this morning, and it's keeping perfect time right now. I'm going to put it on a time grapher before the end of the evening, and see how it's doing. But in all honesty,
did you ever tell us the price point?
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I know a couple people in the chat have asked about the price point. I have spent just approximately $350 on you fuckers
Good
to get
God.
that watch.
What's the power reserve on that? Just curious, because the
Are you
power reserve on the Cubitus
kidding
is
me?
40 hours, 45 hours. Like
45
It's
whole
automatic.
hours.
If you wear it, it never runs out.
It's true.
Well, you know what?
But if you set it down over the weekend, it's done.
Eternal.
This has a Miyota movement in it, or
Okay.
whatever
Oh, okay.
theft version of a Miyota movement from the
Perfect.
AliExpress folks. But in all honesty, I mean, it's a hell of a lot nicer than I expected it to be, and it is not 1,000 times less than or 100 times less than the steel Cubitus that I tried on. I mean, other than the horrible slogan that they put on there, the classic and creative for some bizarre reason, but whatever. So that's homage number one. We got another one from the same company, this by way of our friends at Amazon. So I'm sure this was packaged in China by 8-year-olds. And this is also from the same company. And this, I would actually say, is let me take the strap off here real quick. This I would call a Breguet jump hour homage.
Ming.
No, Breguet.
Holy crap.
It's got coin edging.
Yep.
It's got the Breguet style lugs.
Oh yeah.
It's a jump hour, if I can get it to focus at all.
The dial looks pretty nice.
The guilloche on the
Yeah.
dial
Looks
is
nice.
very nice.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Unfortunately, it again says classic and creative right on the dial. This has an automatic seagull movement with a jump hour complication. And thankfully, for those that are blessed with the gift of sight, they have chosen to give it a solid case back.
Okay.
So again, I'd say this I would view as an homage to some of the, guilloche dial Breguet watches. It's 38 millimeters. It's actually on a really good strap, which is shocking the hell out of me.
Huh.
So it's a 38 millimeter watch with a branded crown. Again, it's got the coin edging including behind the lugs. So they did not. I'm sure it is not cold rolled coin edging.
No.
But again, this is very much like a Breguet jump hour. I have zero, issue of any kind with this, and this was in the $250 range, I will say.
Cool.
I think that's a nice pickup.
So I got that one, and I'm going to put that on a time grapher later and see how that rocks. These are from Amazon, so if I decide I don't like them, they're going the hell back.
Yeah.
The Cubitus, on the other hand, came from AliExpress, so I'm stuck with that fucker forever.
No, you can send it back to them.
I'm surprised it didn't take like
It's
6
a
months for it to
pain.
arrive.
Man.
Yeah. So the third one, again, also from our friends at Farasuit, by
New
way
channel
of our other new channel sponsor. The Amish Gambino will be selling these at Berdine's shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Marco give you a solid trade value.
Look, the guy spruiked for friggin' Artelier when. It's how far different is Farasuit than that?
Yeah.
This one I actually would say, the last one, while it is a Breguet homage, you do have to kind of give it a look to see that. This one is much more clearly, and I actually really like this one. This one is a Cartier Tortue homage.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Interesting.
With a
Nice.
jump hour complication and a salmon guilloche dial. It has been keeping excellent time all day long. I have zero complaints. The hour jumps in both directions. And again, it's another one with a jump hour, seagull movement in there with thankfully a solid case back with English-ish words on the back.
Does it have any spelling errors on the case back?
Let's see here. Water has 2 T's, right?
No.
Oh yeah.
No, does it?
Water. It's
No.
water.
It's not Chinese
No, it's-
unless it's got spelling errors on it.
No, it's
That's the rule.
Farasuit. Farasuit is completely spelled correctly to the extent that Farasuit is a word. Water resistant with an A in resistant, sapphire crystal, stainless steel, automatic. And it's the reference 2280 or 2260B, which indicates in some way, shape, or form there's a 2260A. Again, I have to say, while clearly an homage to the Cartier Tortue down to the blue cabochonish stone on the on the crown, quick release lugs or strap on the back. So, and it's a 30. Let's see, I think this was 36 by 44. Let's double check it. So it actually also corresponds to the Tortue. Yep, 36 even by 44 with 19 millimeter lugs, which are the exact dimensions of the Cartier Tortue. And another really nice sunburst guilloche, I'm sure stamped guilloche dial.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Of course it's stamped guilloche. I mean, this is no Artelier when.
We want to thank Mookie for the $5 super chat. Thank you for the coconuts, Mookie. Who's Mookie? We appreciate it, man. Dude, thank you so much.
I have to say, as a dress watch, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to wear it on this, kind of like taupe strap necessarily. I think a navy blue or something. But again, each one of these, in my opinion, it's not a copy. These are not an homage watch. Is not a copy. These do not have. It doesn't say Cartier on there. It doesn't say Breguet on it. It doesn't say Cubitus on the other one.
It's respect.
Those are fakes. I mean, those are fakes. There's a clear divide between a homage and a fake.
Right. And these aren't fakes. These are true homages. I mean, if you look at the Tortue, there was only one out of all the Tortue references. There's one that has a jump hour. None of them have a guilloche dial like this. I have never seen a salmon dial Tortue before. Maybe there's one out there. The handset is, again, classic, but not, not a copy. So I have to kind of give it to our friends at Farasuit that they have actually given us. Wait, this one only says classic. It does not say classic and creative. This one just says classic.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, there you
So
go.
that one is a ripoff then, right? Because it doesn't
So-
say creative.
Because it's not creative.
So they're not creative about it.
But again, another automatic watch seems to be keeping good time for $250. Somebody would like a dress watch that, wants something a little bit off the beaten path. I can't complain about this.
It's the seagull movement too. I think. Did you say that already?
mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
seagull movements in both of the automatics, and there's a Miyota in the Cubitus version. So I kind of don't really have any complaints here about these three in terms of them being true homages. I could go and get myself a Tortue if I wanted one. I don't choose to spend that kind of money on a watch right now, given some other things going on. So, $250-ish for a really nice guilloche dial dress watch for someone who likes a dress watch like I do. Seems pretty good to me.
That's good.
And
So
it
those
jumps. It's an instantaneous jump at the it's actually pretty neat. Instantaneous jump at the 10 and goes backwards.
Nice.
So no complaints here.
Interesting. I like it.
Apart from the homage issue in terms of whether one likes it or not, I think we're facing a time, and I had this discussion with some people in my non-YouTube watch group, where the barriers to entry to manufacturing a decent watch have been dropping so rapidly that it's going to, not only are some of the high-end Swiss watch companies starting to have Chinese suppliers for various parts, but it's going to be increasingly difficult to justify the price difference between a Vacheron X and a Homage Vacheron X that is, costs 1/100th the price. And it's going to, I think, have pretty big ramifications ultimately on the watch industry as a whole.
So you're kind of saying it's a democratization of the luxury watch market, sort of.
Yeah. I have an Adawak Central Tourbillon, which was made in China, where the finishing is pretty damn good. The watch functions perfectly, and it costs $2,000 as opposed to the $40,000 or more that a normal quote unquote Central Tourbillon would cost from Omega, for example.
Yeah. And Nathan, I know you had a new watch. Come back on and we'll let you show off your new watch here live and in person. So Collector Invest, if you want to just shoot back on the stream you were on a little bit ago, show us your new watch, man. You won a watch. It's always good to win a watch. I love it. I've won 2 of them and they're awesome. Doesn't matter whether you like them or not. They're free. Come on.
Right.
Everything's
So
better
come
when
on
it's free.
back.
Can't be free.
So I wanted to ask Jen, because she actually built her homage from scratch.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So tell me about, because you built the Speedy, right, from scratch?
Yep.
So tell us about that
So-
process and show us, maybe replace the skeleton watch there with the homage while you talk about it, so we can hear
Yeah.
all about it.
Additionally, too, it was inspired by the Speedy, so the very definition
Yes.
of homage.
Yes, is and definitely inspired.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, you guys can see that. So
Oh, yeah.
the case. So all these components are from AliExpress. It has a Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz chronograph movement in it. And the case, I believe the crystal sapphire, I believe the insert is ceramic on this as well. The hands I chose to kind of nod at the racing version of the Speedy to give it a little different color. But I mean, the case looks exactly like a Speedy. It's got the turned lugs on it. They even do this on the back. So the back looks like the Silver Snoopy.
Case, yeah.
It doesn't move, but it looks like the Silver Snoopy on the back. The back is exactly like the Omega. And I mean, this thing, it runs like a top. I've never had any issues with it missing time. It's probably one of the most accurate watches I have. It's just a solid movement. They've really done a lot with the VK63. They've ironed out a lot of the issues with it.
So you ordered all the parts and put it together, basically.
Correct.
Man, that's
the
pretty
case
cool.
Looks good. The case looks
Looks
like
really
like
good.
an OG Speedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a heavy, solid case. Like it's a nice case.
Something as a Speedmaster owner, you don't have that shitty crown guard there either. Because I hate the crown guard on the Speedy. It makes it impossible to wind.
Yeah, and this has a this is 100 meters water resistant.
Nice.
It has a screw down crown. As long as I don't hit the pushers, it's good. So
nice.
That's cool. And we do have Nathan with us to show us the watch he won. So Nathan, take it away. What watch is this? How did you win it? Where is it from? All of that.
I mean, I won this off of Miracle Box.
Miracle Box?
Yeah. And it's just a cheapy watch that I won.
Hey, well, that's all right, man. Do you like it?
Yeah. So I still have to adjust it. It's a strap. And I also won a case for my other watch, the case.
Oh, nice.
That's a nice case, man.
Have you worn it yet?
I need to adjust the links. I'll show you. Let me put this on.
You have to tell us how it wears. That's a part of showing the watch off. You gotta tell us how it wears.
About that much.
Yeah, so you need about eventually need about 2 links out of there. Looks like
maybe 4.
It looks like it sits good on your wrist.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't there's no overhang. Yeah, that's all right, man. Congratulations.
I like those little like markers too. Those are cool.
It's always good to win. We have a super chat from Happy Meal. Thank you, Curly. TLSC engaged. All righty. Another from One Pasher. We appreciate the second super chat. The democratization of watches only gives the top manufacturers to come up with something new and unique to justify a higher price point. And that's a good thing, right? We're looking for something new and unique.
The problem, the flip side of that, though, is that the ability for someone to copy what is new and unique, apart from various intellectual property issues that may or may not apply, is also very easy as it becomes easier. And so it's very hard, not just in watches, but in anything, to come out with something new and unique.
I also want this.
That stays new and unique for very long.
Yeah. And so that's it. That's an interesting take. We've got Collect Invest Let's Go from Happy Meal, $5 super chat. Thank you again. And he's on fire. He says, let's go. We hit 50% of the goal Ali set. Ali set a goal? Good.
Uh-huh.
Let's hit the goal. Nate, turn your camera back on. What was that? What was the other thing that you won?
Hello, keychain.
Oh, a keychain. Very nice. There you go. That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations on your big win. We are all happy for you, man.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on. So, Duco, you brought up something interesting when you said you're wearing the only homage you have, the Explorer. So, tell us. So, are you saying that is and it's actually true, because the actual watch that made it to the top of Everest didn't really look anything like that watch?
No, absolutely not. I was kind of talking about it in jest, but yeah, this is the 40 mil. So this absolutely does not look like anything that made it to the top of Everest. So,
I mean, it looks what made it to the top of Everest looks more like a
chiclet.
No, well, sort of. It looks more like an OP really than anything else. It didn't have the 369. It just had regular markers, regular oyster case. I don't even think it was a black dial, to tell you the truth. I think it was either a white or a cream colored dial, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was a black. I can't remember that part.
It was a Rolex Oyster Perpetual.
There you go.
Yep.
So the whole Explorer story of the first watch on Everest was marketing.
And you are correct. It is a white dial.
Well, it's an Oyster Perpetual, and then they climbed Everest, and in the spirit of his climb, created the Explorer.
Yeah.
So
here we go, boys. Let's share that. I got to share.
In the spirit of marketing.
Spirit of bullshit. I am wearing an homage to this watch. Here we go.
Mm.
And then, of course, Smith's is going to fight you as to who actually made it to the top first, because Smith's says that their watch made it to the top.
Will we ever know? We'll never know.
No.
Will we ever care?
Probably not.
Nope.
There'll be a sliver of people that care, and they'll fight about it in Reddit and fun things like that. But ultimately, it just
leave it to
it's fun camaraderie.
Periscope. He'll tell us.
He actually I think he already put an article about it. And if you don't care as an Explorer owner, then nobody else should care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, there you go.
And Happy Meal 2-minute warning. I'm assuming this is to the race. Ali, what are we doing here? Let me get into the private chat and see what's going on. Oh, Ari had to leave us. Thank you, Ari. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do too many things at once, and I don't notice stuff. So, Ari, thank you so much for being with us. If you're still watching, we do appreciate it.
I think we missed some super chats.
I'm getting back to that. Let's see. So, yeah, we've got Happy Meal with the 2-minute warning. We've got wife is ringing the bell for my 1-hour time limit night, everyone. Thank you, Duco. I appreciate it.
Nice,
I think you missed a couple up.
Yeah. And before you go, Curly says this one's for Duco's perfect hair. It is gorgeous.
The quaff.
There he goes, trying to flex again.
Salon quality.
God dogged Jen, that was not a flex. Do not ring your little button. I was literally touching my hair.
Well,
salon quality hair.
Honestly, you should flex for us once before you go.
No, you do not deserve it. You have all made fun of me. Nobody.
He's already given us like 7 flexes tonight. Our medium legend friend.
I have muted my camera every single time that I've yawned or stretched.
Bullshit.
Very there he is. That
was good.
You'll just have to think about it in your mind. Duco, thank you so much for being with us, man. We'll see you later.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Appreciate
Luca.
it.
See you, buddy.
The 10 teal super chat goal achieved. Okie dokie. I like it. We've got your friend Mikey with $2 and 2 minutes. And we've got one Pashar. Enjoyed your discussion. Reminder to upvote. Good night. Hey, man, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the
Hey,
super
Sean.
chats. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being in here
Thanks,
tonight.
Sean.
And Robert, 10 out of 10 has been achieved thanks to Mookie, Sean, and myself. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. That makes everybody happy when we achieve our goals. One Watch Hangout membership has been gifted by the Ghost of Yiddish Gambino. And let's see. Logan Hall's Grill Streams.
Woo.
Gets it.
If you
Very
haven't
nice.
watched, you should check out his streams. They're wild. He's a
Cool.
fantastic cook, and it's intense.
Man,
I might actually put all my cheaper watches in these.
There you go. We'll look at him in
Okay.
just a minute. Mobster, $4.99 super chat. Great show, all. Thank you, Mobster. We appreciate that. And Mitch, let's talk about what do you feel about homage or watches that take design cues from other watches or all of that kind of stuff. Do you have anything like that in your collection? I mean, of course, the Citizen that you're wearing, you could say, well, that takes design cues from pretty much every 3 registered chrono out there because they all sort of look the same.
Yeah, I have another Bulova that is an homage to a past Bulova, which we've discussed before is a common tactic used by companies to come out with watches that are new to this generation but don't require a whole lot of investment in engineering or design because they've already been designed. So everyone and his brother is doing it. You know, Breitling, the restored brands like Nevada Grenchen. I mean, that's another. I have a Depth Master that is a nod to a previous Depth Master from the 1960s or so that Nevada Grenchen had before they temporarily went under. I mean, my general feeling about homages is that I don't have any problem with them in general, but I do have an interesting question about them, and that is clearly everyone, I think, would agree that if you take a Rolex Submariner homage and stick the name Rolex on it, you've gone into the realm of the fake or counterfeit watch.
Right.
If you have a watch that has the design cues of an existing or older watch, but it's just slightly different in certain ways, then it's an homage. But what if you have a watch that's basically identical to the existing or older watch model, but doesn't have that brand name stuck on it? Some people would say, if I remember correctly, there's a micro brand named Ginaud.
Yeah, you're talking about the Ginaud silent service.
Yeah. You know, I've heard people in the past basically say, well, this is just too close to a Submariner. And even though it's legally not a counterfeit because it doesn't have Rolex on the dial, we still sort of don't like the fact that it exists. So I'm just curious whether I've just opened up a Pandora's box of sort of theological and philosophical questions that are in the realm of how many angels can dance on the head of a pin when trying to separate a design cue homage from a identical but not stamped with the brand homage.
What's interesting about the Ginaud is that it doesn't its crown guards are different. There's actually a lack of crown guards compared to the sub.
Yeah.
And so, you might one might say, well, it's sort of closer to an homage of the original when the Tudor Submariner still had Mercedes hands.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit closer to that than to the modern Rolex Submariner. But, it all comes down to a very ticky-tacky details
Yeah.
on these things. And where do you draw the line and where don't you draw the line and what is and what isn't? And I think that's certainly not just something that we're going to come to a conclusion with tonight.
Well, why not, Robert?
Yes, I'm here to solve all the world's problems. And that's why next Tuesday I'm going to ask for your vote. No, I'm just kidding. Goofy Nuts, member for 14 months. Appreciate the stream. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here on the stream. We like it when you are here. Blake, what is all your feeling about all this? And you've been around watches and sold watches and all of this kind of stuff. What do you think?
Think about like watches that are essentially just like copy paste. Sorry, I stepped away for just a half a second.
No. About watches that, homage watches in general. What isn't an homage? Copy paste. Is that an homage or is it just a money grab? Or tell me about what.
Yeah, I think copy paste watches. I mean, watches that literally are taking the exact same design elements, the exact same layout, and marketing them, as original designs are ripoffs, in my opinion. I think. The epitome of what a homage is exactly what Jen did. She took elements that she liked about a watch and built a watch off of it. And clearly communicated so, right? We understand that, obviously we don't have the luxury of having the design team of Ferris Shoot on our panel right now. So we can't understand what he was thinking when they were designing those watches. But yeah, I mean, in Nate's case too, I think those are appropriate homages. It's not a money grab. It's just I think it's done in a somewhat tasteful manner. So yeah, I think it just comes back down to kind of how they're executed, if it's appropriate and if it's a ripoff or homage, in my opinion, right? So, so yeah.
And let's see, who have we not talked to about this? Anything else you want to add about our topic this evening, Miss Jen?
I don't like it. To me, it depends. Like, what is it about the watch? Do you want it for a status, or do you want it because you actually like the design? And some of these watches, a lot of us will never be able to get our hands on. They're just, the price range is ridiculous, and so. Yeah. When it comes to that, is it okay if I get a knockoff? I'll be honest. I bought a knockoff today, of a watch I know that I will almost definitely never get. One, it's hard as heck to get. It's one of the hardest watches to get from this company right now. And yeah,
what is it?
I mean, a lot. Go ahead. I can't tell you. I'll let you guys know when it comes in.
She's building the
suspense.
I'm not
going to tell you yet.
We'll have an unboxing.
I think you bring up a great point. And if some of these watches were obtainable, there may not be homages or dupes or whatever, right? Like, we're talking about the unobtainium shit that everybody wants, that we just, not all of us have $20,000 sitting around just to buy a watch,
Right.
So
My watch channel brings up a good point. $5 super chat. Thank you very much. To solve the question, how about using clomage to describe many of these one-for-one copies? And I know a lot of people do use that term, clomage, which is, a cross between an homage and a clone. A clone is a little bit different because if you talk about a clone, first of all, they're faking the name of the watch because it's going to be the big Swiss name brand on the dial. So it's a fake watch, but they're also trying to clone the movement of the watch. So when, say, a jeweler or somebody else opens the watch up, they supposedly can't tell the difference between the real movement and the fake movement. And in some cases, these clone movements use actual parts in some of their parts in there to confuse people. So
let me add a little bit to this, to the extent that I'm adding anything to anything. But I want to go back to the Invicta Pro Diver for a quick second.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you that I started out my, collecting. I had a couple of nice watches, but I started collecting, and one of the first watches I bought was an Invicta Pro Diver. Now, that watch didn't come out until the 2000s, I don't believe. And by that point, the diver that looked very similar to your Submariner was ubiquitous. Everybody was making them. So the question becomes, at that point when everybody is making it, do you put it down as clomage because it's a 40 millimeter dive watch with 120 click bezel, with Mercedes hands, when I could probably find you, a dozen Seikos at the same time that probably had very similar kind of, in fact, that watch had a Seiko movement in it, had an NH35 movement in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it didn't say Rolex on it. It was an Invicta, so it said Invicta all over the damn thing.
Yeah, even on the side.
Even on this, yes, engraved onto the side.
We've got Sean joining us.
Try to blow it out.
Sean is all dressed up in a suit and stuff. You're too classy for this show, man.
Over here.
Sorry, for jumping in so late, but I was actually saying goodbye to everybody, and the discussion is so interesting that thank you for having me on. I just wanted to share with you what my thoughts are, if I may.
Go ahead.
And hello to everybody. I've been enjoying the discussion. Listen, in the car business, we do have homages, but I don't see Toyota giving homage to Mercedes-Benz. I don't see Honda giving homage to Porsche. They give homages to their own past design. So relating that to the watch industry, if somebody's taken inspiration from somebody else's design, an iconic design, but puts their own twist in it, I would call that an inspiration. They took inspiration from another watch, from another brand, and this is what they came up with. The watches that are being put out there, and especially these are lower price watches, and they're great. I'm not putting it down. If I were in the market right now, and I'm a younger individual, or I'm an older individual, and I just don't want to spend the money, or I don't have the financial ability to go out there and get a Cubitus if I wanted to, then I would buy one of those watches that the gentleman showed earlier, and they're beautiful. It's just that I don't like to water down the term homage. I think there's a little bit more respect that word homage brings. This is about, you can call it inspiration, but if you're going to copy something, just call it what it is. It's a copy of another watch. So again, I'm in an auto industry, so I bring my experience in the auto industry, and going back to what I just started saying, if Patek can bring out an homage watch of their own, so can any other brand. But if you're gonna come up with a design that almost copies somebody else's design, that's all it is. At best, make some minor tweaks and put your spin on it and call it an inspiration. They took inspiration from another design. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's my take on that. I think the word homage is being used so much that's becoming a 4-letter word.
Yeah, I
fair.
absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree.
Because
So,
there's
Sean-
somebody that comes out with a. I mean, I'm sorry. Because then if Patek comes out with another watch that says homage, they just, because the way we are using homage, it just, I think it just takes a little bit of luster and excitement out of it when another manufacturer, Rolex, coming out with something that they had 50 years ago. It just takes a little bit off. I'm sorry for interrupting the gentleman that was going to say something.
So I think that you said two things that are really important. The first of which is when a brand harkens back to its own design, and what is it? To quote the great George Lucas, things don't necessarily repeat themselves, but they rhyme.
Right.
So you look right now and you have one of my favorite dress watches out there, and I was actually I won't say that I was on eBay stalking one and possibly putting in an offer on one, is the Patek 6119.
Yes.
It is a beautiful,
Gorgeous
manually
watch.
bound,
Gorgeous.
39 millimeter Calatrava with the hobnail bezel,
Right.
which is, so you got your 6119, which is your which is the next generation of your 5119, which was your go back to the 3119, and you
Right.
can go back. And I view them as taking inspiration from. It's not a reissue,
Right.
but it rhymes with its history.
Correct.
So I don't view those necessarily as homage. I mean, again, you have like Tag Heuer that's actually doing reissues of previous watches, and I think a reissue is different than an homage. I think that.
And I have one. I have one of those myself. I have the 60th anniversary Carrera. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so when you look back at the the 6119 to the 5119 to the 3119, to some extent there is some homage element component to that, because it is different, but you can see it as you go back in time.
Right.
I do think about, and again, I've already set up the Amazon return for one of those two watches that I did show earlier tonight, but the Tortue that I showed, or the Tortue watch.
Mhm.
I like that one as homage, because as compared to clone or as compared to copy, because even though it's $250 AliExpress watch, the only thing that it pays homage to in terms of the Tortue is the shape of the case. Now, and the cabochon on the crown, but there has never been a salmon dial Tortue. There's never been a guilloche sunburst dial Tortue.
Right.
I have found one out of maybe 200 references that were jump hour. None of them had the same hands. So that one I think is paying respect to. And for those people that would like a Tortue but are not going to spend $20,000 on a Tortue, or somebody who may, like me, I can go and spend the money to buy a Tortue. I was actually bidding on one just the other day. But when I saw this one, as I was searching based on this topic going to be the subject of tonight's show, I happen to love salmon dials. And I looked at it and I went, wow, it's a jump hour with a unique handset and a salmon guilloche dial. It's like those things don't exist on a Tortue, which is a watch that I love the shape of.
Right.
So I think that falls more to homage as compared to, again, you look at your Invicta Pro Diver, which is, much more copying rather than paying respect.
Yeah.
See,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Part of the issue here that I think we're starting to see in the discussion between us, it goes back to the old saying, ask two rabbis, get three opinions, which is basically,
Which makes
you
it
know,
fun, because if we all agreed, it wouldn't be fun. I
I
mean,
know,
this is
I'm not
we
I
need friction in discussion to make
I
it
agree
interesting.
with the
Yeah.
disagreement or something like that. But the point is that, you know, everyone has their own definition of an homage or a copy or a clone or an
Yeah.
inspiration. And I guess that's what makes life interesting.
100%. And listen, I respect everything you're saying. Again, like I said, the friction in discussion makes it interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna address the 2 points that you brought up, which I agree. The 6119 versus the 5196 versus the 5119 versus the 3119. I would call that an evolution, right? It's a progress in design and so forth. To me, a 5196 was a homage to the original 96 that came out in the 1930s. That's a true homage, because they tried to keep it as close to the original design, but without the big crown. But it was almost, I mean, when you looked at it, and if you knew the 96, you would say, oh, this is the grandchild of the 96. The 51, the latest iteration of that, which is the 6119, that's just a progression of the design and the development of the watch. Going back to your last point that you said, again, the watches that you showed, they were beautiful watches. And the fact that the second one with the blue dial, it had its own the nice design elements that was unique to it. It made it very interesting. I would call that a inspiration that they took from another watch. There is no reason for a watch manufacturer to come and pay respect to another watch. They like the watch, they like the design, they know they did very well, and it's still popular. So I'm going to come out with my own take on it. To me, that's an inspiration. Homage would be when, again, if you look it up in the dictionary, it says paying respect, right, to a design or something that was before. To me, the original manufacturer of the watch, or again in my industry, a car, has the true meaning of, they act on the true meaning of homage, because that's what they put out there. It's just like when I pay respect to my grandfather, when I pay respect to my dad. All right, but that's a true homage when they come up with something new that resembles something that was put out there decades ago. The rest of them, and again, with all the respect, and my take on it is, just call it an inspiration. Okay, they were inspired by that design. Now, Invicta is totally something else. They're just taking so many clues of that design, whether it's a sub or whatever it is that they're doing, that it becomes a copy. It's a copycat. It's a fake. I mean, it's not a fake because they put their name on it, their own name on it. They're not selling it as Rolex, but it's a copycat. That's different than the watches that you showed earlier. I think those watches that you showed earlier, they were not copycats. They were beautiful, and quite frankly, for the price point, I mean, that blue one especially, I was thinking maybe I should check it out, because it's interesting enough that maybe I would even want to have it. I want to see what it looks like, because it has really interesting elements in it. So that would be my take on it. And again, I've been more wrong in the past than I've been right, so it wouldn't hurt me if you disagree.
I think.
By the
I
way,
think
that watch with the watch with the blue dial actually has I think 4 or 5 different variants, and I'm sure you have an Amazon Prime account. So go look
Yes.
for that brand name. And
What is it again? What was the brand name again?
the brand name is
or shoot.
Farasute, Farasute, and they have like about a dozen different a dozen different lines that you can find on Amazon. That one with the coin edge, case sides and everything like that, with the blue guilloche dial. I was just the one that kind of popped to me when I saw it. I said, oh, we're having a show on this. We might as well have one for it.
Yeah, Blake, go ahead.
I want to bring something up. And Sean, you led me to this, so if I go on the rant, sorry. But no, I think when we're talking about homages, you see a lot of scrutiny and hate within our community for homage brands or clones or whatever, more so than in any other industry, you know, because watches are so personal to all of us. And at least in my opinion, I could be wrong. Please correct me, Sean. But when I see a car that looks like another car, I just think, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe in fashion, right, is another good example. Or in the fragrance industry, where essentially they're just, you know, copy pasting scents and rebranding them, and that's okay, right? But when watch brands do it, it's not okay, and we get pissed off. So I don't understand that, but.
Yeah, you know what, dude. I think you make a great point that watches to us are a lot more personal. I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's name, but I believe it's Blake, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Blake, pleasure meeting you. Yeah, so I'm going to give you an example. In the 1960s, obviously everybody knew Stingray Corvette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Opel came up with a car that was called Opel GT.
GT. Yep.
And if you showed it to somebody that has never seen any of these two, they would think that one of them is the bigger brother of the other one. The Opel GT took inspiration. I would laugh at it if they came out and they called it an homage. They just took inspiration. They made it smaller. They made it more affordable because they love the design of the vet. And also in Europe, it probably even back then they had taxes for gas guzzlers, or they didn't have the streets. Every street is so tight, parking is not available to park a car like Corvette, Stingray, and then they came up with a smaller version. But they took inspiration from it. It wasn't a copy because they still had a little bit of their own elements in it. So again, I totally see your point, and if somebody wants to call them an homage, absolutely, I'm okay with it. It's just that I thought I'd call in on a Tuesday night and make it a little bit spicier, and before because if I also I have to get going, otherwise my wife's not gonna unlock the door and let me in. But just wanted to jump on. I want to thank you for being gracious to have me on the panel, and I once in a while do listen to you, and when I have the time to listen to, and I always enjoyed the discussion because you all are pure watch fanatics like me, and doesn't matter what price point anybody is. You know, we all have the same passion for the same really kind of. It's an art. It's something that human being came up with long time ago when you didn't have all these computer aids, and they just came up with something to capture that's not possible to capture, and that's time. You cannot slow it down. You cannot speed it up. You cannot touch it. You cannot feel it. And you only see it as things around you and including you change, and it's time that does that. And I think they just came up with it somehow to have a better understanding of it, and somehow having that idea that we can control it. No, we just came up with it so we can pace ourselves, so we don't lose sight of it, and we can just you know, we can somehow have a better control over our lives over time. So anyways, I'm getting too philosophical, and I'm a lousy philosopher. I'm not even a philosopher. You can call me a BSer. I'm more of a BSer probably than a philosopher, but what I'm telling you is from heart and how I feel, and I hope that comes across. But thank you again.
Definitely.
And I'll keep listening to you till my wife pulls the earplugs from my ears and says, "What are you listening to?" All right.
We'll see you later,
Thank you,
Sean.
Sean.
Thank you so much.
Good night, you all. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.
I would disagree with one thing he said there, and I think Mitch, you will agree with me on this. Every time I wake up in the morning, I can feel time.
we can't define time,
but we can feel it in our bones.
we can't define it, but we can feel it.
Yeah, damn straight.
You know, he said something that kind of like if I could simplify why I got into watch collecting, is for the fact that it tells the future and the past.
Yeah.
You know, and he kind of summarized it. I can look down at every single watch that I own in my collection and say, hey, I remember this epic thing happened or this tragedy happened when I was wearing this watch. And it brings me back, grounds me, whatever you want to call it, or makes me happy. You know, so not only does it tell you the past, but it tells you the future and beyond. And,
Usually for me, I look at the watch and go, "Oh, I remember when I dropped this."
oh yeah,
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 for you.
exactly.
I
They dropped Watch Society over there.
I've looked down at some of my watches and I can look back in some of like my collecting journey and the watches that I've had tragedies in, you know, like life tragedies are the ones that I, for whatever reason, have gotten rid of, you know, except for maybe a couple that I'm like, I love them too much that, you know, in a weird way. Right. And I had one of my friends that he bought a Seiko, one of the Seiko Lux ones with the spring drive movement, the diver, whatever. And he got it home and it was scratched and the bezel was scratched somehow, which I don't understand. But anyways, he took it back and he tried to, you know, say, hey, look, like, will you get this fixed? Will you give me a store credit? Like, this watch is scratched. It's brand new, you know, all this bullshit. And they're like, oh, you wore it out. Suck it up. Too bad. And I mean, I understand this, but we had this complex talk about he will never forget that feeling that he had when he was heartbroken and devastated. And he took it into the AD and had this huge argument with like them. And they were, you know, like, just tell us that you want to return it or you have buyer's remorse or all this bullshit. It was this huge conflict.
Oh, man.
And he unloaded the watch because every time he looked down at that watch, he remembered how he felt in that moment.
Yeah.
And it led to him to hating that watch and wanting to get rid of it. And I sympathized for that and I helped him get rid of it. And and I think about that with my watches too, you know?
Well, and you know, I think it's interesting because a watch is one of the few items that we purchase, own, gift, receive that crosses the line between like just an object and something that we wear day to day. Everybody's got a favorite hoodie. You know, it's that kind of thing. You know, somehow a watch is one of those few things that you can actually attach an emotion to, like a legitimate emotion. Like your friend, he was upset every time he saw that. It bothered him to his core.
It did.
It's one
was
of those
eating
weird
him
things
alive.
that crosses over, you know? And I think it starts out as, oh, that looks really cool. And then when you wear it and you live life in it, it gets this whole different life to it, you know?
I think, you know, because we're so connected to them, because literally they're strapped onto your body, like your arm.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't transcend beyond watches. Where like, you know, if I were to say, oh, I remember that hoodie or I remember that hat or that t-shirt that I was wearing when blah, 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 blah happened, right? I can't ever put those two together. But for whatever reason, I remember what watch and what happened when I was wearing it.
My watch channel, you're in trouble, Nate. You've led to the sale of a watch.
So,
you're an
by the way,
influencer, Nate.
allow me to say, so we've had this chat actually in our side chat for the Tuesday night show. Apparently, I have sold several Martin design Supernatural watches, which is a great, cool micro brand to folks in the watch channel. And Martin, the owner of Martin Design, is going to join us in a couple weeks. I got to make arrangements for that, so everybody could look at that. I am very sorry, my watch channel, and if Robert, if you could put up actually on the screen, I went and did a search for all of the Farasuit watches that are, and again, please understand, I have no relationship whatsoever with Farasuit watches other than I bought this one to some extent as a gag and then fell down the rabbit hole. if you share the screen,
Oh well, let me get to the super chat here first. $5 from One Pashar. Last word promise. I met a fine gentleman over the weekend, meetup we had. He goes by "Time is a human construct," and I believe that says it all. Yeah, I guess it does.
I was going to add two quick things. One is next Tuesday's show, we will be investigating or discussing how many angels can dance on a Cartier cabochon.
There you go.
That'd be another great topic. But to the point of the whole emotions tied up with watches, about a year ago, I had Armand Biard of Sartori Biard design a watch for me in the Columbia University colors, since that's my undergraduate alma mater. But as we all know, and without getting in depth into the politics of the situation, because that is a no-no on many levels, there's a lot of stuff that went on at Columbia University that no matter what side you're on can be classified as not good. And since that happened, I have just not been able to wear that watch. I have been so troubled by what happened there. And I got into a discussion with Armand's sort of director of operations about it. And they are actually going to design a new dial for that watch for me at cost.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So you can just replace the dial.
Yeah, because, my other choice would be to try to sell it, and, trying to sell a piece unique like that is going to be a real pain in the you-know-what. So,
no, I think that's awesome.
So, but I mean, I couldn't wear it,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sensitive, but whatever.
No, there's nothing. Everybody has their own feelings and emotions about things that we attach to those memories. Absolutely. It's interesting that you bring this up, Nate, because the middle watch, the doctor's watch, the middle on the top row, actually saw a YouTube review on that probably about 3 days ago.
Really?
On that very watch. And I did, until now, I didn't connect the name brand that you had said with that watch until I see it.
That white dial chronograph down there, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I will tell you, I've now looked at all of these, and again, in many ways, this is an homage brand. This is an AliExpress brand that you can buy, on Amazon with free delivery and returns. These are the two that I showed tonight: this blue dial, and then the salmon version of the tonneau shape. Then they have this doctor's watch. They have this what looks like I'm a big fan of the Patek Gondolo. I love Art Deco rectangular shaped watches. Go figure. But this particular one here is in a great size, 31 by 42. And it's clearly an Art Deco design. They got it in, actually, do they have it in multiple colors? They have 2 colors, including a salmon one. I mean, so these brands are, while they may start out with as homage brands, or I won't call them copies, they go into some really interesting stuff. I was looking at this one, which is it's got a day and date complication, it's got a day of the week, a month, a year. It's got a retrograde date. I mean, it's a dead dial, so no running seconds. But I can't say that this is anything other than a really interesting watch with a terrible classic and creative logo on it.
Yeah, if they take that part off, it'd make it a lot better.
Yeah.
This is the one that Blake was just talking about, and I would absolutely say that, but for the fact, that it's a double pusher chronograph here with a seagull, mechanical movement. I mean, this is screaming Patek chronograph to me. 5070 maybe.
Yeah, the Breguet
in a lot of ways. Yeah, between the Breguet numbers and that, and the clearly chemically blued hands, not heat blued hands.
You sure about that?
I will bet you any amount. I will bet you
Yeah,
all
no,
the
I'm
money.
joking,
I will bet you
man.
all the watches in my box that these are
It
not.
could just be
heat-proof hands.
paint.
But I mean, just
Yeah.
interesting designs that clearly pay homage to some of the classic watches from history. These doctor's watches. There's I see some of the Rolex prints kind of thing in the dials of some of these. This one screams Breguet classique to me, other than the horrible.
Totally.
Now it really screams Breguet classique. That salmon is actually pretty damn nice too. But I mean, and I am not. I am not buying
gonna
any
Pokemon
of
this
this
stuff.
Nope. I got other Pokemon, I got other ones to catch.
You got other Pokemon.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that it's kind of weird, kind of going back full circle here, that these 300 to, or actually 250 to, I guess the chronograph here is the most expensive one at $499. These AliExpress Chinese manufactured watches, I think, epitomize like the good side of the concept of homage.
Yeah.
They are clearly taking certain elements from certain historical watch design. They are adding their own flavor to it. And you could say, you know what, I really want a Breguet classique, but I wish they had a green dial. Oh, look, I can get that for $299.
Yeah. Of course.
And again, all of them mechanical.
You sort of kind of have to differentiate this kind of brand that kind of takes inspiration and does their own thing with a copy and paste brand like a Pagani Design or something like that. This brand is really, homaging the look of the watch, but doing their own thing. Pagani is just putting it in the copy paste and doing that.
And you can also get the Pagani Design with a sterile dial that doesn't even show it as Pagani Design, which really, as far as I'm concerned, is crossing the line into just a straight up copy.
Yeah.
But all of these, I bet that I would not be able to find an exact match from what they are taking inspiration from. There will be something different about these. And I think it was a Watch Collector channel. I don't remember who it was in the chat that had mentioned it earlier. Actually, I think it was the person who wound up buying the green dial version of this.
Yes, it's My Watch Channel did it.
My Watch Channel. Is it? Oh, bought this version. That's a pretty nice one too.
Yeah.
The fact is that if and when Chinese manufacturing, reaches the the QC QA level of good Japanese manufacturing, or even I'll say just middling Swiss manufacturing, this would certainly be this would be a brand that I would look at. I mean, again, I'm a dress watch fanatic, but 75% of my collection is dress watches on straps, and there isn't a single one of these that other than the fact that I don't want to have 12 $250 to $350 watches in my box right now.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there is something unique here that I would pick up, easily a half dozen of these.
Mm-hmm.
And because it has the historical connection for me, as I would look at them. I mean, so yeah, San Martin is another one, and they have absolutely moved away from the Copage watches.
Yes.
Yeah. And their quality is unbelievable. Like everybody raves about the finishing on that.
Yeah, I just ordered one actually.
And I
think San Martin.
Yeah, and it's interesting because San Martin is now getting U.S. dealers to carry their stock.
Yeah.
Long Island Watch.
That's where I ordered it from. Yeah.
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 But they're carrying the San Martins that are the more original designs. They're not carrying the
Okay.
copy paste San Martins from the past. And I don't think San Martin is making as many of those copy paste from the past. I think
No.
they're trying to move into a more original design kind of phase. So, and he's got a San Martin watches, a couple of them, and loves them. So, and you're right, Jen. The finishing is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And you could absolutely, I think that with any of the watches that we just saw on the screen from Amazon or from San Martin or any of these, higher quality kind of homage brands, I certainly have zero qualms having one of those in a watch box next to $100,000 watch.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it interesting? Does it put a smile on your face when you put it on your wrist?
Yeah.
Does it bring something slightly different than something else that you have? I think I may buy one of these and send it into the channel for the year-end giveaway.
Yeah, that might be fun. But we're getting to the point where we need to wrap up. I will say
Mhm.
that Ali had technical issues, and so that's why he's no longer on. Nothing happened to him. He's fine, but he's got internet issues because he's still not, stable as far as living places and that kind of thing. So we will run a race next time. Everybody who super chatted and member chatted and so on and so forth, this evening will be in a race on the next stream. So we appreciate you hanging in there with us, and no race this evening. Anybody have any thoughts to wrap it up, Blake, or anybody else?
Well, basically, I'm old enough to remember when made in Japan was a sign of awfulness, when people wouldn't buy things. And then, look at made in Japan is people will pay extra for things that are made in Japan, cars, what have you. And so there's a cycle. And I think right now, China for the last 5 or 10 years has been emerging from it's junk to, now we got to sort of start paying attention, whether it's watches or musical instruments or even cars per se. And so it's always a cycle. Korea, same thing. Hyundais, when they came out originally, were considered to be garbage, panned by Consumer Reports. Now they're one of the leading brands in terms of reliability.
Something
Yeah, I
too
would-
that go ahead, Jane.
Okay. One of the things that, that kind of sparks in me is, it goes back to the xenophobia that has been that comes and goes in waves in the United States. And, I think of a company like Barron's. They make extraordinary watches. I mean, Konstantin Chaikin uses them to make more watches because he can't make enough. That should tell you a lot about the quality of what they build. That man builds some of the most amazing machines I've ever seen. And he wouldn't just hand it off to anybody. So I think, the comment that Nate made about, Chinese manufacturing coming up to speed with, some of the other manufacturers, I think they're there. They have different flavors. I mean, I would argue that seagull movement that is in those watches that you have right now is a forerunner. A lot of companies are using that. They actually discontinued the 1900 movement for other companies. It is no longer available except through them. So it's obviously wanted enough that they had to discontinue it and make it their own. Sue just uses it in almost all of their chronographs. That's what they're known for, is their seagull movement that's in there. It may not be the most beautiful movement. They finish it fairly well, but it is a quality piece. Anybody that knows movements will say that. So yeah, it's getting past that, that initial social barrier that has been thrown up.
Something that I think about. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Something that I think about watches is the most important thing about watches to me is wearability. Like how often I'll wear it, where I'll wear it, when I'll wear it. You know, wearability is important to every single person in the chat, on the panel. I don't care if you're a watch collector. And something that nobody can debate is that a cheaper watch is more wearable than a more expensive watch. Mm-hmm. Because if you take any amount of money, right? Everybody cares about money. I mean, you could wear a Casio and not give a shit what happens to it. Or you could wear a Submariner or a Daytona or whatever, right? I think the value aspect of wearing a more expensive watch, at least for me, and I've noticed a lot of my friends, I care what happens to my watches, right? And I insure them, you know, and sometimes it still keeps me away from wearing them because I was traveling to Turkey and I didn't want to bring an expensive watch, you know. You know, I like a watch that's wearable, you know, and here in Vegas I can wear whatever I want, right? But I still think about I have an expensive watch on my wrist. What if something happens to it? What if I scratch it? What if I damage it? What if it gets stolen? So for that reason, I think more cheaper watches are more wearable, you know? So, and you know, brands that Nate, you know, mentioned, and I noticed you cringed a little bit when I said that. But
only because Blake, only because you're talking to somebody who went and put a rubber strap on a rose gold Grand Manga, so that I could just wear it to the beach.
Okay, so there is an outlier.
There is one in every crowd. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the one out of everybody who watches.
I didn't wear it. I mean, I wouldn't wear it in the water. I mean, I'm not an idiot, but my philosophy. Every watch is a sports watch when you put a rubber strap on it.
There you go.
I think about the possibilities, right? Like, I don't want to wear an expensive item every single day of my life, you know, as a watch collector who's got a lot of watches. And that's the reason why I find myself looking for more wearable options in my collection. And that's the reason why I have so many micro brand watches, you know. Affordability isn't the reason for me. It's just more about, okay, if I'm going to Uzbekistan and I have never been to Uzbekistan, I'm not wearing a Rolex to Uzbekistan or whatever, or Turkey or whatever, or Azerbaijan or wherever I'm going. You know what I mean? So, and I go a lot of weird places like that. So
we'll close out the show with the wise words of Bubba Hotep, $5 super chat. Shame on all of you making us look at these potential acquisitions. Some of these actually look good.
There's no interest lists either.
There you go. No wait lists on Amazon, my friend.
All right.
That's right. Hey, you guys have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Thank all the guys who are currently on the panel. Thanks to Sean as well for coming on. Thanks to Ali for coming on for a little bit. Thanks to Ari for being here for a little while. And thanks to Duco, as well as all the folks you see here at the present time. And also thanks to Collector Invest, Nathan, for coming on and showing us his winnings. We thank all of you. And
wait. We have to thank Cap for coming on in a
oh my gosh,
drug-induced haze.
Yep. Thank you. Good God. I was going to say you saved me from getting into trouble, but then you blew it. Thank you so much, Cap, for being on as well. We leave you with our friend who didn't come on tonight, Mr.
Can't
GMT.
beat my meat. Awesome homemade Greek style food. Come and get it. Our awesome heroes. Come and get it. Our big breakfast. Come and get it. Our Wednesday special charcoal pork shifty and souvlaki. Come and get it. Our Thursday special cabbage rosé. Come and get it. And our biggest seller, souvlaki. Tuesday, Friday. Come and get it. And don't forget, in 2024,